What's up? So this video I'm gonna talk about the impact of Manu Ginobili, who I did like from the San Antonio Spurs. And I'm gonna talk about when I think about the 10 greatest shooting guards. He ain't cracking my 10, but he was one of my favorite guys who did the little things and he added up. And perhaps if he had never played with Tim Duncan, he was on his own team, he probably would have scored a lot more points, maybe been a league MVP. Who knows? But when you play with a guy as great as Tim Duncan, I can kind of do bits and bobs with him and Tony Parker, but the Duncan factor was just too huge. And straight off the bat, I cannot put Ginobili with Michael Jordan, Dwayne Wade, and Kobe Bryant. I can't. Those were three of the greatest two guards I've ever seen in my life. So he can't crack that code. Then you got cats like that predated, like a Jerry West and George Gervin, who predated most of my viewership. So, but their legacies are intact. And you got Earl Pearl Monroe. Now, I did see Clyde Drexler, so that might be debatable with Ginobili versus him, maybe. But Ray Allen was better than Clutch, so I can't. And then, of course, there's that guy named as the answer. And I can't put Ginobili over Iverson. So you're looking at this thing trying to, like, because I heard Skip Bayless was on this show and he made him top four. And I'm like, no, you will not. No, once I get touched those three, was he better than Ray Allen? No, because Ray Allen did more or less the same similar thing, if you think about it. Arguable with him and Clyde Drexler, but it depends on which side you're rolling with. But him versus Allen Iverson, I gotta take AI. I got to take the answer. I mean, because he did so much and what he led. And man, you give Allen Iverson Tim Duncan in his prime, and history will look at him a little bit different. But I do like Ginobili's hard work ethic. He showed as a six man. He was what you call a real life Rocky because he took a punch, but he gave you a lot, and he was one of those guys that was a baller. So he had a great career, Hall of Famer. Yeah, he'll be a Hall of Famer. He won 4 rings. He did things. And I love the way he would spread out on the wing and attack the rim, and he just kept his reluctant. He did that Euro step. He had that thing down pat. It's just that he had other guys that overshadowed him. We're talking the European players. Dirk Nowitzki overshadows him. So there was always like somebody that kind of overshadowed his thing, but he was a tough, relentless player, and I got a lot of respect for Manu Ginobili. He was very important to the Spurs championships. He did win 4, and he was in 5 finals, so he was impactful. It's just that there's just some people that just kind of rise a little bit more, and it's just kind of tough just you know, to pick him higher. But he'd probably be one of them. I'd probably put him one of the 100 greatest players. I'd probably have him in that 76 to 100 slot. And I do think he was a great player. What he did a lot of everything. But it's just that, and I do think that maybe a little bit bigger volume with the Spurs. He could have kind of been like the Kevin McHale of his generation, been a 6 man or became a starter who impacted a little bit more. Sometimes it didn't quite all the way go that way. Just like kind of like in the '05 finals against Detroit, the first 2 games, just one of them situations that, hey, if the series is a 4 game sweep or something, he's the MVP because the first 2 games he was balling. But then he get lost when Robert Ory had that big game, and so then Duncan got the notoriety. So there was always those little things that kind of and then of course no one's talking about it because his situation in Golden State is almost similar. But imagine if Klay Thompson gets balling, you're gonna have to put him on this food chain at 2 guards too, because Klay, he's coming, and his stats and all that. So it makes for some good round the table discussion. But he was one of the most feistiest all around hard working players I ever saw. I'll give that to Ginobili. He was a fighter. That's a fact. You weren't gonna out hustle him. He was a hustling, moving, get those little things. He did a little bit of everything, which he could do. He wasn't punking and backing down. So I got respect by his name on that. It's just that I can't quite put him top 10, and if I did, he'd be like on the lower tier. But he was one of the toughest, hardest working players I've ever seen. So respect to Manu Ginobili. Peace.